Common Sense Media activated.
Live from the 210, it's the Wave of the Few Short Show, and we are your hosts, Mr. Trey M. Carr, and I am E. James.
Welcome to Wave of the Few Shore, aka WFS. We're a discussion show covering a wide range of topics. Whether it be something that interests us, from the head or from the heart, we always find common ground. This week's episode is going to be all about family, but first, all is not well in Utah. So Pornhub is pulled out of Utah due to its new age verification law. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking about support in a time of crisis and the things we do for love. But how are you guys doing?
Man, it's been crazy.
Yeah, it's been nuts.
It's been nuts.
Say the least, man. Say the least.
I mean, as Michael Keaton said in both of his roles as Batman, you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Yeah, it's been nonstop on this ride.
Yeah, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. What about you?
I've been doing really good. Went to my brother's wedding, so shout out to my brother. A little bit of gratitude for the guy.
Yeah, shout out to Vintage Car, tying the knot.
Yeah, that was I was gonna say, don't do it. Run, Ricky, run.
It was nice.
Just messing with you, brother. Congratulations.
Just playing, man.
Appreciate it, man. We got a way big family now, so it's kind of cool. We got to buy way more barbecue. It's nice.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
If you need any line cooks, holler at your boys over here.
Chopping, grilling, frying, all that stuff.
Oh man.
Nah, just let me know. I get down.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, real quick. Do y'all use the what is it called? A disco?
The Lazy Susan?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got it, man. You can't just chuck like ranch across the table. You know what I mean?
No. The thing you cook in. You cook the
Oh.
meat. It's called, I think it's called a disco.
Mm.
Yeah, man.
It's like the big, like the fryer thing, right?
Yeah, but it's out like you can use propane on it or whatever. Yeah, and then it's like outdoor. It's a big circle. And
I forget the
cook
name.
everything in it. Yeah.
My dad makes a goat with that. He makes a mean goat.
Goat. I haven't had goat in a long time.
Yeah, cabrito. Yeah.
For our vegan and vegetarian friends, I'm sorry.
We're very, very sorry. We'll make you some corn with some vegan butter. It'll be good.
It'll be good, I promise.
Yeah.
We're gonna hook it up.
Trey, what about you, man?
Man, I'm running around in this place, man. I got a couple things going on. I guess we're gonna give gratitude. First and foremost, gratitude to the Mother's Day.
Yes.
We're doing this our May episode, so
Yes.
happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Gratitude to my mother and my wife, who is the mother of my children and a great mom. Second piece of that, gratitude to my youngest child, birthday coming up. And I'm just realizing this, so forgive me, little one. I just realized that your birthday will every once in a while coincide with Mother's Day. And I apologize, but don't be mad at me. Blame your mom. Anyway.
Both Mother's Day. Both Mother's Days, because y'all put me on. I'm from the SA, and I was unaware of the Mexican Mother's Day, May 10th.
I told you guys about it the other day because that's my dad's birthday. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I know about it is because I worked in the restaurant industry for so many years. And we used to like get smacked.
yeah,
And you never think about it because you're so focused on Mother's Day. You don't think about Mexican Mother's Day until you've gone through a couple of understaffed, super busy Tuesdays that just happens to fall on or
That's
something
crazy.
like that. So,
Craziness.
yeah.
I will piggyback on the Mother's Day shout outs to my wife, my mom, my mother-in-law, my aunts, and I'll do a heavenly Mother's Day to my grandmothers. I no longer have both, or all three.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's gonna be a crazy weekend for you, sir, since you're doing a little double work there.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun this weekend, but it's all good because you know what? I don't ever mind working when all I got to do is go in, do a job, and make money. So, is what it is.
it's the right way to think about it. You got tips. You got all day tips.
Yeah, I'm going to make some. I should make some money this weekend. So, half days because I got the kids a birthday, so it should be easy money.
It's gonna be good.
Shout out to my little lady's birthday too, man. That's cool. I can't wait.
Yeah, man, she's 2.
2 years old, man.
It's ridiculous.
And she moves like the Flash around your house. So I hope you put all the more expensive things up top.
She knows what to touch and what not to touch, but she's a climber. That's what gets me.
Dang.
She's a climber.
100.
And that's a part that like throws, because my other daughter, like, she didn't have the balance or whatever. I don't know. But this one, she'll
Scales,
be
yeah.
a chair, 2 packs of soda, and a random box that she found trying to get to the top shelf. And she's 2. I'm like, what are you doing?
She Mick Foley.
Oh,
Man, just fall from the top of the cage. She be on top of the cage too, the little dog cage.
Dang.
why did my brain go to Dude Love?
Dude Love.
Dude,
He was the
Love.
coolest one. Yeah. He was the coolest one.
He was cool, but he was weird.
Yeah.
The double arm DDT.
Yeah, hell yeah. So, why is that lake so salty, guys?
Ooh,
Up in Salt Lake.
ooh.
Yeah, man, this is something that caught my eye a little bit. Looking into some things. So, one of the more prominently known websites, I guess actually prominently promiscuous websites, has taken itself out of Utah. It is officially pulled out of something. It's no longer going to access Utah. The reason being is Utah just passed a age verification law kind of for people under 18 when it comes to social media. A lot to unpack with this law.
Yeah.
The
Really?
Hoob. The Hoob is out.
So there's a couple of things I really wanted to get your guys' opinion on bringing this kind of topic in. Number one, how do you feel about not being able to access a site from a specific location? Number two, how do you feel about ID verification in monitoring who's watching your website? So number three, how do you feel about the minors in social media as a whole? A couple of things to unpack here today.
That is a loaded baked potato, my friend.
Yeah, there's layers. That's an onion.
Fully loaded, extra on the side.
It's a blooming onion, man. So,
Blooming onion.
first of all, it's crazy that the hub's gone down in Utah. That is unprecedented. So, I would say I really, really wish right now we were sponsored by a VPN service because we could just plug that in right there.
Oh,
for our
I
people.
know, right?
Right? That'd be great. So
This podcast was brought to you by ExpressVPN.
exactly. Yeah, and then we'll just rake in the money on the infamy. It'd be great. But there's gonna be
residuals.
that. That's what's gonna happen. That's smart kids are already smart to begin with, and they're always gonna be able to find their way around that. And it transcends just the hub. It's anything that they can get their hands on, really. Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, case in point, my nephew just keeps downloading VPNs because his dad keeps blocking Discord. And he's like, I just keep getting them. They're free. So there's that. And second of all, that ID thing is crazy, man. That is ridiculous. Like, there is some sort of, I really hope it's not like an unsecure spreadsheet somewhere where they're just having a list of people and their IDs. But I do see it kind of being lazily kept like that as well. You know what you know. So it's like one of those things where there's just going to be some spreadsheet full of names and data that may just come back to bite them if it's not protected well.
No offense to contractors. Some contractor with no skin in the game is just like,
Yep.
it's just sitting out there.
Yeah. On a Google Doc.
Oh my gosh.
On a
No, it'll at least be, 0365, but that doesn't mean it's going to be protected.
So that's a little draconian, I'd say. That's a little bit leaning more into the corporal punishment stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like it would have repercussions. Like, let's say they pass further laws to like distinguish these people for other things and barring them from certain things. Like, let's say just because you use the hub, you can't get a car until you're 25 for no reason. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it just does something crazy and they use that as some sort of database, or it correlates to some other thing and they just, they fudge the numbers to where like, oh, these people that use the hub also do the most crimes, and it's just a bad
Are you
statistic.
logging 3 hours a day on this thing? What are you
That's
doing?
okay. Yeah, I'd be concerned there. There's one big old arm and then one little arm. Yeah, we might want to keep a list of those guys.
Take my good hand.
That's crazy.
I want to give a shout out to Sherry DeVille. I'm unfamiliar with this performer, actress.
I'm unfamiliar with her work.
I did some no, I'm playing. No, but she looks very professional here.
Yeah.
You know, she's got like the red and black tigery thing going on, and she looks like somebody's beautiful like trophy wife who's like also a librarian teacher, you know, and she's just like, "Hi, we would love to be able to serve you." You know, I'm grossly paraphrasing. If you want to watch the video yourself, you know, we got to make sure we actually put this in the show notes. We say that a lot. Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. And we never do.
We really got it for this one. But yeah, she's got first day of work vibes.
She really does. It's yeah, exactly. It does read like a like a new employee orientation video or like annual training.
Yeah.
For sure. But no. So I give her credit though, because it was a really good delivery. Man, I keep falling into traps with my wording on that. Her delivery.
Yeah, she delivered.
Yeah, she did.
But Utah, each state has specific laws, and regulations, and policies, and rules, and blah, 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 right? I feel like I've got no evidence to back this up, okay? I'm just going to say this is just Edge just throwing stuff out. I feel like if this is successful, there will be more. They're watching Utah. This is the test. Like, can I get away with that?
Yeah,
is it going to work? But as you said, there's going to be VPNs. Okay, look at what people do with piracy.
Yeah.
You know, let's back up for a moment. Just focus on piracy. Like, this isn't a piracy thing, but like Netflix and sharing passwords. They're getting them on people for sharing passwords, and people are like, well, fine, screw you, I'll just drop your service, right? I have many friends who are like, they were fine with paying for a few things. They didn't want to pay for all the things. So now they're using torrents and things like that again, dusting off the old news groups.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? and firing up the VPNs, you know, Nord, Express, etc. Mozilla used to have one. I think
yeah.
Brave has a VPN, right? So as you mentioned with your nephew jumping on VPN to VPN, that's what people are going to do.
Yeah.
They're going to hop on a VPN, and if they really want it that bad, then they're going to go. And when I say want it that bad, I mean specifically Pornhub.
Yeah.
How is that going to work for other sites? I mean, because other sites, I know Pornhub's pulling out. I know other sites, you'll have the age verification.
Yeah.
But what I mean by how is it going to work for other sites is, are they going to follow suit in Pornhub and just not operate in that state as well? Or are they willing to sit back and go, you know what? I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just going to say XXX.com. I don't know.
I think we all know, but we don't want to say.
I have no idea what you're referring to, sir.
I don't know.
Sorry, though, as you were saying.
Hand on the button. No, I'm not even going to go there. But no. So I'm just wondering if the smaller sites will say, well, hey, we need that traffic, that ad revenue as well. We're willing to go through this with them. Yeah. Let them do their thing to keep the money coming in. You know?
It's true.
Yeah. That's
also
one thing that's cool about the law. They make it's specific to where you can't like run ads at minors. There's like ad control for the minor accounts that you do allow your children to have, or things of that nature.
And so that moves on to the
third point,
the next layer, right? For minors. Mm-hmm. I mean, should minors be looking at porn? No, they shouldn't be.
I mean, no, but you know.
Emphasis on the shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay. They shouldn't be, but we know they are.
Yeah.
We were teenage boys at one point.
Yep.
I'll leave it at that. All right. But I mean, dude, HBO after a certain time of night, Cinemax. I mean, the
Say
Skinemax.
less,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
dude.
It was channel 14 for me.
What'd you say?
So there was channel 14 for me.
Hey, man, when I lived in England, it just came on after a certain time of night on the weekend. You'd be like, I'm sorry, what? I was like, what happened to the
BET
anime?
used to,
What happened to the
BET
anime?
used to
It's
do,
a bit vulgar, isn't it?
they used to do some after dark type music videos that you would
Oh,
only see at
BET
the
After
uncle's
Dark,
house.
man.
Damn.
Jeez.
Damn.
Yeah, I forgot about that. But no,
It was just it's part of culture, right?
so social media, okay? Social media. I understand the idea behind wanting to protect minors.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be protected. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Age verification, just like you were saying, Carr, I'm not really comfortable with putting that in the hands of the government. I think that should be regulated by parents.
Yeah.
If a parent wants to say, you know what, shut up, here's a IG account or here's a Facebook account. Sorry, Instagram, not IG. Let me stop abbreviating things for those who don't know. Twitter, whatever. Do they really think that's going to stop them? You know what I mean? Do they really think like you're going to make them have? Would you say they're going to make them check the ID? Right? They're going to have a government issued ID
Yeah.
to access
That's
this
what
stuff.
I've read on like the Times. Yeah.
Okay, so what if I'm a parent and sorry to give ideas? What if I'm just a parent? I don't feel like dealing with that crap. I'm going to sign in and I'm going to do all this stuff one time and then I'll just create a separate account. Hey, well, I've already verified who I am and I want to create a second Instagram. And I say, okay, Junior, little girl, Twitter, whatever the case may be. It doesn't even have to be social media or those particular sites. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just, it's a whole lot of regulation. And this is coming from, I hate to get too political, but this is coming from a group that's talks about limited government. Right?
So that's pretty dead on there. When it comes down to it too, it has to boil down to the consequences of it, I think, in my opinion. Like you have to have serious consequences, or it has to affect the whole of all the user base. Like you can't just make an account as an adult if you just roll that slider and you say you're born in like 1990 or whatever. Like, cause that's how every underage person gets through like the age checks right now on the internet. It's like an arbitrary check. It's more like a moral thing. It's like, are you 18?
Moral turpitude.
Are you 21? And we all have just gone 1979, whatever.
Right.
But how is that going to be any different? I guess it will be different if people are held like in contempt of it. You know what I mean? Like if there's consequences and all that. But
That's for the IG. Oh, you say you're 25? Okay, scan a valid ID that proves that you're this age, so we can allow you access to our domain. Yeah,
I think the only way for it to technically work would be affecting everybody getting on. So even like the 64-year-old grandma that has to get on, like, you still got to verify,
So I'm looking at I was trying to find this quote, right? It's bad when, no offense, when the porn star sounds pretty darn reasonable. Now, she didn't write this.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Great actor.
She's probably the best one to read it.
Yeah.
But I digress. While safety and compliance are at the forefront of our mission, giving your ID card every time you want to visit an adult platform is not the most effective solution for protecting our users, and in fact will put children and your privacy at risk.
Yeah.
Until a real solution is offered, we have made the difficult decision to completely disable access to our website in Utah. Let's just talk about who they tried to reach out to, they being, in this particular article. So Vice was the first to report this. We're looking at a New York Post article. They reached out to Utah's governor, Spencer Cox.
Conscious there.
He ain't got nothing to worry about. He'll be able to access the site. He ain't worried about it.
I just wanted to point out his name. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I have to agree. There has to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
I again, I think we all get the idea behind it. but the execution and the potential slippery slope, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what I think it does? It's trying to set up all these checks and balances. And I think, parents and other leaders in the community that are trying to lead the youth into the right direction they kind of get less of that responsibility when it gets into the hands of your local legislation,
Yeah.
And that becomes less of a moral thing and more of just the law. And yeah, that kind of doesn't really teach people why things are certain ways or why you perceive them as good or bad. We learned that from our elders. You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I don't think like a law is like my elder. I just think that's a piece of paper written by a bunch of people that I will never interact with. But if my dad told me something or whatever, like that's different. My mom told me like, hey, one of your arms is bigger than the other. Like, I'd pay attention.
and we all still don't. We all don't always listen to our parents, right?
But it's more direct,
It is a lot more direct, and it hits home harder because it's at home. Now, that again, teenagers will be teenagers. Kids will be rebellious.
Yeah.
But I think there's a certain level of responsibility that the home that parents should take to explain to their kids, hey, I know you're on Instagram lurking and looking at, girls with
Ashley Graham.
I was going to say features.
Yeah.
Guys with features too. There's buff dudes on there too. It's not just the guys being creepers, right?
Yeah.
Girls lurk too. Yes, you do. Women, you do.
Women's.
But that's not reality, right? That's just a person selling you an image. They're selling you, a dream. And they say there are studies, I think, that do show that porn does damage the psyche a little bit and all this other stuff. Like, I don't have the exact studies offhand. I'm just repeating things I've heard from time to time and whatever. But I think there's a responsibility of the family to discuss these things, right? Sex education.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think that conversation with sex education has to start incorporating all this stuff from this internet age, because I don't know. Does anybody have kids or relatives that are of that age that talk about what they're getting taught now? Because that's a pretty big element in today's world. Your online presence and then sexuality on top of that.
Right. And then in certain regions of the country, people are like, oh, well, you're groomers if you're talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how it was for you guys. I'm only like a little bit older than y'all, and less than 10 years. But when I was a kid, my folks talked with me about sex education.
Yeah.
And then they also had to sign waivers to do stuff at school. I think they had to sign waivers.
Yeah.
I think they just sent a notice home saying we're going to talk about it. I don't even think they had to sign anything. I think probably later on when you guys were in school, did your parents have to sign a waiver?
Yeah. And then the one like sheltered kid ended up going nuts in college because they didn't know what was going on. Anyway.
Right.
No,
right.
But yeah, we're all there for the banana and the condom thing. Like, it was all whatever. Like,
right.
Kind of drove the point across. But yeah, it's still something that's always like a rite of passage. You know what I mean? You always snicker and stuff, and your coach is always like, hey, we're talking about something serious. And all that stuff is just a part of growing up now, too. But it has to change because the world changed. The world changed underneath our feet. Like everything is different now.
And they're getting hip to that stuff younger.
Yeah.
Like my daughter is 11 years old, and during the beginning or the middle of the school year, she had girls asking her, like two girls said, hey, we're bisexual, like, what are you? My daughter's like, I don't know. I feel like I've told y'all maybe this before on the show, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but my daughter's like, I don't know. I'm trying to finish reading this book. And she talked to my wife about it first, and she talked to me, and it's like, you don't have to worry about that stuff right now.
Yeah.
If you know what you are, then you know, I guess. But I'm like, how do you know you're bisexual? Or like, are you having sex?
Yeah, it's like one of those things.
I mean, I like, you know what I mean? I hate to be so literal about it, but it's just like, if you know, that's cool. If you're attracted to the opposite sex, the same, both, whatever, cool. But people would say, well, I blame the media and I blame this and I blame that. I'm like, well, some kids just know. And I think having talks in education, being able to reach out to people and have resources and say, hey, you know, I felt this way when you were your age, and here are things that you should read and understand, you know, gay, straight, in between, outside the box, whatever. Here are your resources. So I think by trying to, I can't say, and it's tough because I don't want to say shelter. That is absolutely the wrong word. But I think by taking away the responsibility from the parents to a certain degree does no favors. Because, again, kids are going to find a way. You've actually made them, in my opinion, you're going to make them a lot more curious. Now, we all could be wrong, right? Let's say nothing changes. They leave it as is. 20, 30 years from now, that's just what Utah does. It's a thing. They don't even think about it.
Yeah, it's just like whatever in Utah, you just can't do this. It's just a minor aspect of life that just exists there. Just like certain places don't serve alcohol in certain counties. Like it's just going to be one of those kind of, it is going to be held as a standard like that, you know?
Yeah. What do you think, Trey?
Yeah. As far as my thoughts on this, man, I think it's really just, it comes down to, I don't want to like sound disrespectful to people, but it really comes down to your parenting, because there are ways to limit this within the devices and within the things you have. Like one of the things they're implementing is like a curfew from 10:30 to 6:30. Like if you have a Google Nest, you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, if you have, you can do that. Those are things that are already available to you. For the government to have to step in and do that, I think is just an overreach a little bit. Because you can do those things. I can limit what you can go to. I can limit how long you're on your devices. My kid has Amazon Kids tablet. She still has to like read or watch educational videos for an hour before she plays games every day on that thing. Now I have pushed the curfew back a little bit, but you know, it shuts down at midnight. It's a little late, but sometimes she's up till like 11 or sometimes 12 on Fridays or Saturdays. We'll watch a movie. She'll be on her tablet. You just have to make the effort to do those things.
That's all.
And it shouldn't be up to the state, but at the same time, the government does have a like duty to protect the kids, but
right.
I don't know if that's the way to do it. ID verification for things. You had to be, I think, 13 or something to get on MySpace, like way back in the day. And like Carr said, all you had to do was, you know, what year was I born? No, let's add 5 years to this.
Yeah.
So I think the parents have to do their job.
I don't know. I don't think we completely touched on this aspect of it. But the tracking being every time you use your ID, you know, if you don't want Facebook or you don't want Meta.
Yeah.
And
or the hub.
Well, Meta, Twitter, whoever, because let's just focus on the social media aspect, right? We'll take the prawn away from it. Right? For those of you who are unaware,
just like you,
prawn, PRON is old internet spelling of porn. But let's just take the porn sites out of it, right? Let's go back to the social media.
Yeah.
And then you got to check in and use an ID. And who's keeping track of that? We know who's keeping track of it, but what are they doing with that? Okay, so John Smith in Salt Lake access Instagram, and then he went over to what's that new one, Blue Sky, and then he went to Mastodon, and then he did this and he did that. It's like there's a running log, and it's like what's that being used for?
And then on top of that, a lot of those apps track your location, so they have you in a location like locked in. There's no, I wasn't there, I don't know who that was. No, dude, you're like your ID verified on this app. So when it scans your face to log in, we know it's you. And you were in this location. Sorry.
You know, and I'm not I'll be completely honest. You know, someone can Google better probably than me, but when I looked just a little bit, I was really trying to understand what they were going to do with that data. Like, is it going to be anonymized? Is it just like, okay, cool, check. It's going to go authenticate. Yep, this ID matches this person that is that age. Allow, deny, right? Or again, I don't, there isn't enough information
Yeah.
to make me comfortable with the idea of the government tracking kids.
Yeah. Has to be pretty secure. It has to really, like, there's so many
Ideally,
chances.
of course.
There's so many chances to intercept that too.
Right.
Like, every time, like
Yes.
every 5 minutes, bro. Like, come on.
Yes. Ideally,
Yeah.
you know, is it, and then again, you say every 5 minutes, like, is it for a session? Like, what happens when you close the browser, right? What happens when you close the browser?
Oh, man, I gotta. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So there's so many levels and layers. It sounds like a rule or a law of passion. I would love to really understand the intricate details of execution
It's real
and
bureaucratic.
how they plan to support this.
Yeah.
So
Damn. Well,
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I think it goes into effect March next year, I think. So
I mean,
really,
they've got time to work on
everybody's
it.
got to abide by it.
Yeah, they've got time to get those details right. I mean, obviously, I don't want to say obviously because it's not really that obvious, but I'm assuming this had to have been a thought for a minute now. You know, like
I think Louisiana did something similar, but I'd have to look into that. I can't remember. Not as intrusive, but there was something going on with Louisiana in this regard too. That's
maybe that'll
something
be a
we gotta look
takeaway, man.
into.
We can verify that in the cleanup next episode if you're willing to.
see how it plays
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Hey, so before we go further down the family rabbit hole, first of all, we spent a good long time talking on it. That was good. Discord. I just want to get quick thoughts. Discord is going to be changing to permanent, unique names. So right now, when you're in Discord, and the reason why we're talking about it is because we communicate a ton. We have a Discord. We haven't made it public. We don't quite have the user base yet. There's some things that need to fall in place before that, but we're frequent users of Discord. I belong to like way too many now. But with Discord, it would be like your name is Sam I Am, hashtag, and then a set of numbers, 4 numbers. And what they're going to do now is totally remove those numbers. And it's going to be like, now your name is just Sam I Am. And the way that the rollout, from what I understand, is going to work is they're going to do it in order from, like, I guess, oldest to newest. I don't think that's really how it's going to work. I'm pretty sure there's some popular streamers and individuals who have
there's the people with some bread.
right, people have
that
been
are gonna-
verified. But just quick thoughts, not to spend too long on this, no more than like 3 to 5 minutes. I just want to know, does it bother you guys? Are you indifferent? Think it's cool? It's bad?
I think it's kind of hard to add your friends on Discord sometimes if you aren't aware about how their naming works. So maybe that's just a way for them to get more users.
Bingo. That's one thing. You pointed out something that they brought up as a reason why they've done that, because it's been hard for people to find people or their friends on there. Good point. Continue.
Yeah, that's all I got for that. I've had times where I try to add a buddy or whatever, and it's just like, oh yeah, you got the other name. What's that other name?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? And then we're like, all right, I'll just see you tomorrow.
Right. Or you got to like screen print them and say, okay, look, dude, look me up this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had that difficulty as well. What about you, Trey?
No, I think it's I really don't have a problem with it as far as the change goes. I think it's what every communication or media app is going to do at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
You want to make it as easy for your user base as you can to talk to one another and communicate with one another and have that, collaborative space, I guess is the best way to put that. So, make it, hey, you don't have to worry about all this. Just, hey, this is how it is. _ this, that. Marshall on Mike's 3 with an underscore, whatever it's going to end up being.
Yeah.
That's just a streamlined way to do that.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with it. For some people, it's going to suck when their name gets taken and they have to figure something else out. But it's not something that we're unaccustomed to in this day and age.
Yeah. It's like, I've been Johnny's wheels this entire time. Now I'm picking on the name John a lot today.
You know what I think it is? I think they had a different idea on how to handle naming conventions before, like, the big social media sites and Twitter and everything kind of took off. Like, they haven't been around too long, but they've been around for a little bit. Maybe that, idea that they had didn't really stick when it became to like a popular norm to do it a certain way.
Right.
So that's just them retconning and just kind of making it more like the others for convenience.
And that is the reason why, personally, for me, I have mixed feelings about it. Because it's like everything wants your real name all the time, your email address. It wants you to create an account. I mean, how many things have you seen that say, hey, download our app? You go download the app, and it's like, I want your email address. It's like, I don't even know if I want to use this.
Like, no, my name's Schmoopy.
Yeah. So it's like you got to create like a throwaway email with some, like I use Apple's hide my email often now. Because I'm like, man, I just want to see what this is about. I don't even know if I'm going to use this long term.
True.
But my point is like, my name is very simple on Discords, and I can change it. You know, I could be E on one server. I can be Ice Cream Man on another. You know, I can I could be Slippery Slip Socks, you know, somewhere else. And
okay. He's in a sock channel, man.
I mean, that's not really my name. I was just playing.
Anyway.
Funky Fresh Feets.
Dang.
Of the alliteration. But no, but you could do that. And now it's like everything's following that same account. Oh, he can talk here. He can talk there. It's like, you know, or as you said, Marshall on Mike's or whatever your name is. You know, I don't know if you want me to put it out there, but
I say it all the time, dude. It is what it is.
Right. Well, I was talking about Carr.
Oh, heard.
Yeah, but like, there are other people who are in the public eye that don't mind that.
Yeah.
One guy I follow, Brother Tech. He's Brother Tech on everything. Easy to find. Just BROTHA Tech. But some people might be like, well, I'm Slip Johnson over here. Sorry, got me thinking about Utah again. I'm Slip Johnson over here. I'm Fleece Johnson another place. I like that username, but I won't it. But yeah, man, I have mixed feelings just because I like the ability to kind of like, it's almost like putting on a new persona depending on the Discord.
Yeah, there's themes. Yeah, you can jump into a theme. You can really role play.
Yeah, you join a political Discord, you go with something funny, you know, like Gerald M. Gerrymandering. You know, so you could do something crazy like that, but you go on a rap server that's like hot bars.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. It's not the end of the world. It makes me frown a little bit, but again, it's not the end of the world.
True.
So, all right, a little bit of family talk. And we've spent a little bit more on these other topics than intended, but I think it's good. We're releasing some energy.
Yeah.
So, support in the time of crisis. I don't normally do this, like, ever. The only reason why I'm doing this kind of talk is because I became a public figure last year, so to speak, but starting the show, as did the two of you. I've had a lot of tragedy in my family, Trey and I's family, lately, and it's really been rough. I wanted to talk about, and we don't have to spend forever on it, but I wanted to talk about supporting people who are going through turmoil and crisis and, you know, a tough time. So my father, Trey's uncle, is currently in the hospital. He's been there for over a week. And while he's okay right now, things could change. And I don't want to, the other reason why I don't like doing this, because I want people sending me messages and emails and being like, hey, are you okay? You know, and our beloved grandmother passed away last September. I didn't post anything on social media. I didn't want to talk about it out there because I don't like drawing that kind of attention to myself. And you don't need to do that now, dear listener. But if you want to, we appreciate you, love you. But I want to talk about knowing what to do to help people in respecting the wishes of certain family members or of the whole family, that is.
Yeah.
And asking, you know, what can you do as a friend, as an extended family member, in-law, whatever. And I'm not talking about anyone in particular. So friends, families, family members. This is it, no one in particular. I'll give some shout outs to Trey's mom, who's been a rock star, my uncle and my aunt, my father's siblings, because we've been lockstep. Shout out to Trey as well. Much love for him doing what he can to help out in this time. But in you guys' eyes, ideally, what do you expect or what would you want from other people when you're, for lack of a better description, just going through it?
Well, I don't know. For me, I guess it just comes down to I don't communicate well with a lot of people, and my communication channels are often closed. So when I have people that are going through a difficult time, I just try to open my communication channel a little bit more, have it open for them. Hey, if you need me at this time or this time, it doesn't matter. If you need me, I'm there for you. I don't want to dive too deep. People deal with things differently. I would want somebody to keep an eye on me, like not closely, but from a distance. I'm a closed off individual, so I'm not going to share my emotions or how I'm doing or how I'm dealing with things really. But when people get into tough situations, they can lash out or something. Keep an eye on me. Let me know how I'm kind of doing, make sure I'm not doing anything crazy. Like, oh, you're going through this tough time and now you're not coming home till 2:30 every morning because that's when the bars close. Or whatever it may be. You're coming home at 6 a.m. because you don't want to be in a certain situation. Whatever it is, keep an eye on me. Talk to me. If I want to talk, be there to listen. And, just keep a general eye out for my well-being. Tough times put people through ringers. So that would be something for me.
So to summarize what you're saying, it sounds like you just want people to just keep checking on you, making sure you're good. Because you personally say that you don't communicate the best. But so because of that, you don't want people to think that you're just fine or you don't want to be left alone in the dark. Is that about right?
I mean, yes and no. Like, I don't want people checking on me every day. Like, hey, you okay? Like, hey, you okay? Like, hey, you okay? Like, no, like, don't do that. Don't do that. But when you see me, man, people that I work with or people that I consider friends, we'll see each other on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Whether it's through a video chat or this or that. So when you see me, like, look a little deeper, I guess is kind of what I'm saying. Because, when you really know somebody and it's a family member or a good friend that's going through a tough time, you can tell how it's weighing on them. Yeah. I feel like there are vibes. You can see it. You know what a person normally looks like. You know what the light in their eyes look like. So just look at me, right? If I'm going through a tough time and I sound okay and I look okay, just ask me if I'm okay and don't pry too deep. And if you're going through a tough time for me, and I'm there for you, I'm going to try to do that. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to look at you if I really know you, make sure you're doing okay to my standards, and ask you if you're doing okay. When I see you, do you need anything? Yeah. Is there anything I can get you? Anything I can help you with? No? Okay, well, if you do, again, my line's always open. If something happens, my line's always open. Like, I will turn over and make sure I answer that phone call for you. So instead of just hitting decline like I do for everybody else. That's all you can do, right?
That was good. That made me laugh, really. That was pretty good, man.
There's a lot to think about here. When I think about it, I think now that I've kind of seen this situation, I'm realizing that everybody is different. Everybody has a different way to get through things.
Yeah.
So, we had some discussions earlier about just kind of how we're going to deal with all this, like, as a whole, as a creative unit.
Yeah.
And we all had different opinions about the idea, but that's because we're different people.
Yeah.
And so personally, just for me, whenever I go through hard times, I kind of clam up like Trey, and that's just something I do. I don't mean to, but I do. And you're right about the being appreciative of when somebody wants to check in on you. It can't be a badgering kind of thing.
Yeah.
At certain times I do know I need my space because I don't want to show people around me like that I'm hurting, because I'm not good at not showing my emotions. That's the thing. Like, if I'm there in that moment in my head, like I'm there at the restaurant bummed out ordering or something, Like that's just
the hamburger, please.
yeah, I'll just have whatever. Like yeah, it's just
Yeah.
you can see it in my shoulders. Like you see it in my eyes and you see it on my shoulders, and I don't want to let that bleed into anybody else. And seeing how you guys all operate differently was giving me more perspective on that. Because yeah, getting through things is a big deal on dealing with these things. And I don't think anybody can help you really get through it. It has to be upon you to do something like that and what you're going to do to want to get through these things. And there always has to be like a boundary. There always has to be like a level of respect and like an empathy that you have. And it has to come from there. You don't necessarily want to tell people like what to do exactly. It's just, sometimes I think when we're at our lowest points, and I've been guilty of this, we're suspicious of the things that we're told, and I've like definitely taken things the wrong way when I've been in not a good spirit, and it's like that for different people. Some people just let it bounce off them, but there's like an element of friction involved because you're trying to tell somebody that you love them, but you also just want to make sure that they're just being the person that you know them to be. Like you say, Trey, like if you really know somebody, like you'll check up on them and stuff. You can feel it. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it. Like it's just something that hurts, man. You pick up on pain if you're like a real good friend or even just like an aware person, and those things are just interesting to see as you get older and stuff, and people just deal with things differently. And I think in that sense, you just got to learn how to read the room and read your people. Because then everybody's like a different case. Like me and my brother are totally different people. We deal with things differently. Like, yeah, it's just, that's what I'm learning. You can't fit one approach to everybody. And the other thing too, like you get a lot of empty condolences. Like when you're hurting.
I know.
Those are the things that you really shouldn't be wasting your time on, but they still linger in your head rent free. Like, man, like, they didn't really mean that. Like they're just saying it to go through the motions. But that's like a cynical take on those things. Because like those are just things that are said to be polite. And it's nothing personal, but you kind of wish it was a little bit to be more personable. And I think those are the parts that still linger with you when you're by yourself thinking your thoughts. And that happens to me. Like anybody well-wishing and stuff, like yes, it could be taken lightly, or also it could be like, man, like this person blew me off the other month or whatever. Like you just start going through that hamster wheel, man. Like,
Yeah.
And those are just things that when you're in that moment, you just have nothing else but to do but to think about it. And that's it's an unhealthy thing, but we all go through that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, people just try and mean well as much as they can, but also people have their own lives too. And but it still gets to me too. Like anything I could do for you, like, all right, man, like cook my parents dinner, like, you know, like something like that. Like, yeah. Or go clean up my gutters. Like if you really care. Like,
I mean, you can cut a brother's grass.
Yeah, man. Like,
I might help you out.
I've been kind of busy, so
yeah.
I kind of need to go get my car tires changed.
You detail my car?
Yeah.
No, that's really good perspectives. And for everybody who's been listening since like day one, and also who know us personally, like all three of us personally, or at least any combination of us, you could tell our energies and the way we move are different, but we connect in such a righteous way, bro.
It's the power of three. That's what I've been thinking about sincerely this whole week. Like there are three different souls here.
Yeah.
Like some of us may lean towards one thing more on a 2/3 ratio. Like maybe me and Marshall will agree on, or me and Trey will agree on something a little bit more than you, or maybe you and Trey will agree on something more than I do. But at a certain point, like the intro had mentioned, we find common ground.
Yeah.
And, the good dynamic part about it is we're all just not like those kids at the mall with the same clothes, like going to the same freaking food stand and just saying the same things. Just be like, no cap, bro. Like,
Bruv, no cap.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, though. It's a beautiful thing to have friends like that.
But the reason why I brought up, the dynamic personalities, like it's probably obvious that of the three of us, I'm the most outgoing, like Kool-Aid man style, like let's go, boom, boom. Like Trey's best friend, Park. That's why me and him get along, because we're on that same wavelength, and he and I go out together, he and I would end up on opposite ends of a club or a bar, and then we'd like reconnect like Voltron. He'd be like, what strangers did you bring? I got these strangers. And it'd be like, do you know any of these people? Nah. And it'd be like 20 people together. Park and I are just like, all right, well, I'm kind of tired of them now. Let's just let them talk and then we'll disappear. We're just random like that. And that's why he and I connect. But so like with the three of us, depending on the situation, right, you can channel different energies and you can bring certain elements to the table that just nobody else can, right? Because of that individual person. And for me, being that outgoing person, as much as I am, that is outgoing, I don't like people to worry about me, and I don't want them like bothering me about stuff. You know, like my friends and my family and my close people, they know.
Yeah.
Behind closed doors. I'll text y'all. But even with that, to a certain degree, I have a tough time because certain people who don't see me every day, like I feel bad. Two of my friends I basically grew up with that are in Nebraska don't even know what's going on. And I haven't even told them. And if they're listening to the pod, they're going to be like, dude, why didn't you say anything? And it's just, if I don't call you often, not because I don't love you, but I don't call you often, I don't want the call to be like, I'm going to hit you up and go, hey, by the way, so this is what's going on with my family.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to start off like that. You know, if you ask me, how are you? I haven't talked to you, and I tell you, then it's more organic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so if I'm a person who is lending support, so I asked y'all this question. If I'm a person that's lending the support, I genuinely want to try to help, even if I can't do anything. Like there's just certain times, man, you can't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing you can do. Hey, how can I help you? Well, I mean, unless you could fly out to like England, like you know somebody in England, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to hop on a plane, whatever. Okay, well, I can't do that, but I can send you some cash. My homeboy Frog, his name is Jason.
Frog.
Yeah, he's back in Omaha.
Yeah.
I haven't really talked to this dude much in the last 10 years, but he and I spent a lot of time. He's actually originally from San Antonio. That's the funny part. We're like two San Antonio dudes out in La Vista, Nebraska. And this dude's house had a flood years ago. I sent him $100 on PayPal, didn't bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
Because I know that guy. I grew up with that guy. I spent a lot of time. And even though I don't talk to him like that, like now, I have all the memories from when we were kids up to like junior high to high school. And I was like, look, dude, you got a family too? Nah, you got it.
Yeah, like take care of a couple things.
And I'm sure now people are going to ask me later on, hey, I'm your blood. Where's my $100? I'm like, I see what you do with your money. Yeah. I'm playing. Stop. I know. I already know it's coming.
That's our phone ringing right now.
I know, right? I already know what's coming, man. Oh, I'm going to catch heat for that. But no, my point is, man, is I try to do what I can. I try to call, I try to check on people, I try to text, but I also try not to harass. I don't want to be the guy like Trey was saying earlier. Hey, you okay? You okay? You okay? It's like, man, you just asked me that like 8 times 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, there's like there's a boundary there, right? And it's just hard to skirt with everyone. And I guess you mess up a little bit with everybody at first, and then you realize what that comfort point is, and then you don't want to say it this way, but the next time something happens, you got a better understanding.
I think for me, the support I would expect is just like, hey, if I'm look burnt out, tell me you look burnt out. Yeah. And,
let's just roll with that.
Right. Roll with that, or at least ask the question, for example, we were talking about, hey, if things get bad, do we need to take a break? And I told Carson, I'm good. Like I want to keep rolling. Yeah. Because things haven't gotten there. But just so you know, our wavy babies, if things do get really bad, we'll have to take a little bit of a break. Yeah. That's just honest. You got to take care of your family first. And so if the support I look for is just, hey, ask me what I need, ask me what I want. If I give you specific things, please just do what I ask. Don't deviate, because all you're going to do is frustrate me. It's like it may not be anything personal. It may just be like, look, this is exactly what I need. I know you're thinking I want this. I'm not talking about you,
but still,
but Like if you ask me what I need and then you're like, well, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And that's just life in general. I'm going to go, that's not what I asked for. I appreciate it, but I appreciate what you're trying to do, but that's not what we asked you to do. And we don't need that. It's not necessary.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I think that's what being a good supportive person is about. It's just reading the room, having that empathy, having that understanding, knowing the people you're trying to lend support to, and then making sure that you just do what they need. Even if it's just calling every once in a while, sending them a meme.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're going through it, so here's a trolling meme of something. I don't know. Any other thoughts?
Last thing I say on that is also when you're dealing with people in that situation, know your place.
Yes.
Oh. Know your place. Know where you stand in that person's life or what your place is. You know, if it's your wife, then, you know, you got to be there a lot more than if it's just, you know, homie from the bar that you see every Wednesday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's different levels for that. That's how you tailor your needs to somebody.
Sorry, I started talking when you were. I want to give another shout out to Richard and the DC crew here. They gave my family some money. They raised some money for the situation.
That's what's up.
And I wanted to put that on. You know, I typically would keep something like that quiet, but I thought that was beautiful. They handed us a check today, and that was awesome. That's awesome. That was awesome. So I just want to say, love you guys, even though I don't know you. Love you guys. We will put it to good use. So thank you. All right, let's get happy. Things we do for love and quality time. I think Carr wanted to run point on this one.
Yeah, I got to babysit next weekend. So I think the things you do for love aren't always the things you want to do, but it's something that you know will kind of build on a relationship or memories for the young folks or even the older folks in your life.
Yeah.
That's the value in it. It's not if you're having fun. It's the memories that you're making and the friendships and the bonds that you're making with the people that you're spending time with.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude, like I live by myself. I got a dog. I really got my own life going on. I'm pretty happy just kind of doing my own thing, following the beat of my own drum, but I know I still have to check in and do family time.
Oh yeah.
You know? And so I got to figure out what to do to entertain my niece and nephew. And it's not hard. They're not aliens. They're not like foreign to me where I don't know what they like and don't like. It's just, you know, I got to figure out something that's going to be a good mix for all of us. You know?
How old are they?
That's a good question.
Are they preteens or teens?
13 and 10, I think.
Preteen and a fresh teenager.
Yeah. So they're just, you know, they're still
awkward age.
They're awkward. They're like on the iPad, just memeing it up. So I got to figure out how
how do you make those memories?
Yeah, how do you bridge that gap when everybody's like looking at their phone and all that stuff? So, you know, that's one of those things. Like I'm doing that as a favor for my brother. He's going to go do something else. And, you know, I just want to step in and just do the uncle thing. And yeah, I've done it before, but you know, every time is a different time. It's never the same. You can't just rinse and repeat with these kids. Like you can't just do that. You can't play the same board game twice now in this world.
Well, you know, and some kids you can, you know, like it's funny. When we were kids, you'd watch the same tape over and over, or the same DVD over and over.
Yeah, worn out tapes.
And now they just watch the same.
Every time you swipe, it's something different.
Right. Well,
that's
and
all you
now
got to do to get something different.
Well, there's that, and then also, you know, kids watch the same Netflix show or Hulu or whatever, you know, same episode. I'm like, you just watched that yesterday, 8 times yesterday.
Yeah.
Why? But the things we do, man, for love. You know, you watching your niece and nephew trying to figure out what to do to entertain them. I think it's cool. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun when you crack the code. It's going to be a pain in the butt when they're just like, that's lame, uncle.
Yeah, that's the most serious thing in my life right now. Like, that's what's been gripping me with, like, mild anxiety. That's a beautiful thing, by the way. Like, just to like, man, I got to babysit these kids. I got to figure out how to be cool. Yeah. Like, that's a great place to be. I'd rather be worried about that than bills.
I'll tell you what.
You know?
Best advice, don't try.
Yeah.
Just don't you try, because when you try too hard, they'll know you're trying too hard.
Yeah.
I've been slowly learning that, just even as a parent. I'm like, what do you think? And I'm just like,
yeah,
I guess. It's like, damn, that didn't stick. Okay.
Yeah. New stuff like that. There's stuff we do.
Pick a card. Pick another card.
Right. Yeah. Reset.
Hold on, I messed up. Yeah.
Can I get a do-over, please?
Yeah, there's just always something like that. Or you just, spend time with just somebody you never really built a bond with in the family too. That's another thing too. It's like, it just depends on what you're willing to do and like trying to form like your circle stronger. That's what it is. I think it transcends beyond family. I think love is family, friends, and even people that you don't agree with, because I think love comes from the same place as hate,
Yeah.
Like, man, I don't even know if I want to tell this story, but let's put it this way. Somebody I knew went to college with a guy that he ended up working with, and they would battle. It was just a rivalry. Like, they were just always at each other's necks and stuff. And they ended up where one of the guys started to work at this place where my friend started working out. And he just spoke bad about him. He was like, I don't like his work ethic. I don't think he's worth it. So he came in just kind of already with this infamous reputation. Turns out that it was just always like that. That's the way they worked. They were kind of at odds with each other all the time, but it was a challenging kind of rivalry, kind of like a rivalry friendship thing.
Frenemies kind of thing?
Yeah, just real frenemies. But it ended up to where my friend's rival friend ended up dying on a ladder. And,
no.
Yeah. And, he had to kind of deal with the offboarding of his account. He couldn't do it. He had to tell his coworkers, like, I really have a history with this guy. I can't do that, And I think that comes from that same place, because it pushed him to go further because he wanted to kind of exceed those expectations. But, at the end of it, there was enough bitterness, but enough rivalry and maybe a little bit more respect at the end to where it just got to him emotionally, where he couldn't do what he needed to do for work.
That's why Batman can't kill Joker and Joker can't kill Batman.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's really crazy. Like, I heard this story recently and I was like, man, that's like, in my mind, that's like the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I of course I would resort to comics, but it's not the same, but it rides that wave a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a good comparison. Very good comparison.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what, the biggest thing I've learned as a parent, and I'm sure Trey's figuring this out with your youngins, biggest thing you can do for love is just be there. My son asks me all the time, will you play with me? I feel so bad sometimes because I got so many other things I've got going on. And even before, the stuff with my pops, all this other stuff. And my son asked me to play with him. And I'm like, yep, give me, a few minutes. And then I forget. And he's like, you didn't play with me. I'm like, dang, man, I'm sorry. I let you down, bro. And what my fear is like, forgetting so much where I don't play with him at all. So like, even if it's like 5 minutes playing with him, like we'll do Legos, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. But for him, he's like, yeah, okay, check the box. Dad did that.
Yeah.
My older daughter just wants to sit down next to me, and just watch something.
Yeah.
She just wants to hang out. My younger daughter, she's in the basketball, like she's really into it. She wants to watch basketball, and then she's analyzing. So she's asking me like, okay, why did they give him the ball? Why are they standing like this? What are they doing? It's like she's legit asking me questions about the game, and I'm just like, wow, I mean, you really want to know? Okay, so why is it a double dribble? I'm like, well, you should know this by thought, but you dribbled, you stopped, then you dribbled again. So can you not dribble with two hands? I'm like, I mean, technically you could do a power dribble and hit it with two hands, but yeah, that's also, but just weird stuff like that. She's asking me, not weird, but
That's
stuff
good,
like
man. That's
stuff
awesome.
like that. And that's that time though, right? Because Mr. Trey has said this probably no less than 5 times in the last 2 months. The most valuable resource is time. I swear you've said that so many times, and it's true. It is 110%, 1,000%, 1,000,000%, infinity percent true. There, you know what I mean? Time. What is time? Time's going to go on for as long as there's existence of life. Time waits for no man, as they say. So to me, that quality, the things you do for love is spend the right time. For me, at least. Make memories, obviously. You're making memories with your niece and nephew. You're going to hopefully do that a lot more.
Yeah.
And then when you're an older dude, they'll be like, man, Uncle Carr used to take us to, throw rocks and just marvel at the water, man. Marvel at the water, homie. Skip rocks.
They're gonna take care of my damn kids. That's what they're gonna do.
Hey, but they might. Seriously, though.
Yeah.
They seriously might.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes around like that.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool. Yeah, it's not hard. It's just something you got to do for love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I agree. Totally kind of feel the same aspect that he was putting on, man. Time is the most valuable resource. And if you really want to show somebody you care, you spend the time. And that's what you do with the time. It doesn't really matter. Like he pointed out, it's just about spending the time. And you remember that, hey, you did this with me when I wanted to do it. So you're stressing about, oh, what do I do? How do I entertain these kids? Just do what they want to do, man. Hey, what do you guys want to do today? We can do anything. Yeah. What do you want to do? Can we go to Incredible Pizza? Nah, I don't want to go to goddamn Incredible Pizza. But you want to go to Incredible Pizza? Because come on, let's get in the car. Let's go do it. Whatever it is. It's like, no, I don't ever want to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I come home from work. I don't ever want to go. My kid wants to ride her bike, so she rides around the neighborhood. Then I have to run behind her. Like, I don't ever want to do that. Like, I never want to do that. Like, I want to come home and sit here and watch basketball and play my game or do whatever. Just be quiet. Put a record on.
Right.
But no, you want to do this. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
It's
Inconvenience
beautiful, man.
is nothing when you're trying to make those memories, man. So
Yeah.
that's what I do for love and my advice for you coming into this weekend. Don't stress about it too much. What do the kids like? What do they want to do? Let's go do it.
Yeah.
Be a little bit creative with it, but what do you like? What do you want to do? Okay, we could do that, or we can kind of do something like this. Oh, that'd be cool too. Just let it naturally generate, because that's the only way. If you just come in, oh, we're going to do this. If they don't want to do it, they're going to block that out. Time you spent that they don't care about. So
You could be anywhere in the world right now, but you're spending time with
Uncle Carr. Now go clean my car.
enjoy that, man.
Yeah.
I'm an uncle too, and I was an uncle way before I was a pops. So I know how that can go in little things. I used to take my nephew to the park, man. He still talks about it. Oh, you remember when we went to the park? I had no car. We walked to the park. I had 30 minutes. I'm just chasing him around. I thought I was just keep tiring him out. Nah, that's a memory for him. I was trying to get you to take a good nap, homie.
Hey, I'm not going to bed until you tell me to stop.
I appreciate your guys' input. Thank y'all for this episode too. It was real. It really was real.
And thank y'all for listening. And thank you, Carr, and you, Trey, for being who you are. So you can find us at Common Sense Media on Twitter, Common Sense Media on Instagram. I'm E Can Talk on both. He's Marshall on mics, right? On both.
Marshall Mike's 3 on Instagram.
Bet. And with that, we are going to say good evening or good morning, depending on where you are.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, hello, bye-bye, baby.
Bye. Yes. Bye.